Hello and welcome to the first episode of Football Fantasy Weekly with myself, Tomo, and my best mate,
Fletchy.
Okay, so we between us have decided to launch this podcast, video cast, to basically have an outlet for our severe addiction that we have to Fantasy Premier League and the dream team that's associated.
Sorry, Tomo. West Ham have just signed a forward. No, sorry. I'll just repeat that in case you got a little bit of lag on the line. West Ham have signed a forward.
Really? It's been confirmed, is it?
Yeah, been confirmed. Hernandez is a fantasy player.
Wow.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt your important introduction there. Do carry
So
on.
as you can see, first-hand news. You don't even need Sky Sports. You can delete your Sky Sports subscription. Just listen to us once a week. Yeah. So let's go into it then. So I've been playing Fantasy Premier League for around 8 years, something like that. And I suppose have been getting gradually more and more addicted as I've gone along, enjoyed it more and more and more. And I think 5 years in, decided to call it a day, decided to retire from the game. I went off to Australia and I actually missed a season. That was 3 years ago now, and I've been back playing again the last 2 years, which haven't been that successful for me, to be honest. But yeah, what a game.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, to lead on to that, I played the game, must be about the same time as you. And my addiction levels have just rose and rose and rose to the point where...
Have your relationship suffered and suffered and suffered as well?
Of course. Those horrible, dark Sunday evenings where you've hit on a 23-point game week and you're expecting an 83. It doesn't matter what misses you got lying next to you. It still hurts.
Do you think the lows are balanced out by the highs?
Depends how good a manager you are, I guess. Obviously.
Well, you've had two very good years, haven't you? Let's face it. You've had two very, very good seasons in and around our community and our mini leagues.
Yeah, within our community. Yeah, I won our mini league last season. I believe I was top 5k, which is pretty good going.
Well, finish it. You finished top 5k, did you?
Yeah, top 5k. And I'm looking to retain titles this season.
Yeah, I think what point of the season was we talking when we was looking at your rank and we was both getting ridiculously excited? And you normally want your mate to do badly, but when they get so high in the rankings, I was actually cheering you on. I think at one stage you was 100 odd, was you?
I think I was about 150. Yeah, that was when we went joint Aguero triple. That sort of time.
The Sunderland Stoke double.
Yeah, I can remember the fixtures as well. That Stoke game was sheer agony.
Yeah, that hurt.
But yeah, talking
and then
about
it just said you didn't. The wheels didn't come off, but your overall title challenge fell away.
Yeah, it did. I had what was it, 150-point lead. I was dragged back down to third place. Morale was very low. I was getting bantered all over the place. I was being called a bottle job. And my life was in tatters, basically. But these top managers come back, secure titles, and here we are in the middle of July, still thinking about Dream Team.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, well, I mean, you did well to recover because, like you say, you had a mini wobble. I'd probably class it as a mini wobble. Like you say, you fell to about third in our local mini league.
Yeah.
And then what do you think won it for you in the end in terms of your tactics or approach late on in the season?
I think it was just block people towards the end and keep my faith with Sanchez. Obviously, we all know what Sanchez can produce.
Especially late on last season.
Yeah, he certainly goes through dodgy periods, but you just got to keep him, keep your armband on him, and you normally get rewards. But will Sanchez be on my side this season? Well, where's he going to be for a start?
Yeah.
And 12 mil we're looking at fantasy wise.
I think you're right. Yeah, he is. Thoughts are it's probably a touch expensive, purely when you're looking at your squad as a whole. I think the reason being I don't think he's a priority because of the slight uncertainty at the moment as to where his head will be at. Don't get me wrong, if he's in an Arsenal shirt come the first game week, I'll be very, very nervous if he's not in my side.
Yeah.
I think with the introduction or the signing of Lacazette, means potentially Sanchez could be playing further out wide. We're thinking maybe he could be playing left wing. If they look at wing backs and potentially sort of a two up top situation, I'd be much more interested in him again. But I'd really want to see proof of that, I think. Yeah,
I think obviously these friendlies coming up. I know obviously Chelsea are playing Arsenal because I'm a huge Chelsea fan. So, the indications...
Chelsea blinkers.
Of course. The indications for the friendlies coming up and obviously the Charity Shield. And obviously we haven't had real firm confirmation on what's really going on with Sanchez. Obviously heard quotes that they're texting him. Not quite sure what he's saying. But it'll be interesting to see the next couple of weeks because things...
What's your gut feeling? Your gut feeling he's there in an Arsenal shirt? Start of the season?
My gut feeling is I think he might leave, and I think he might go. I'm not sure where he go. That's the problem. Obviously, the rumours are City, strong rumours.
PSG, obviously.
Yeah, PSG. Juventus, possibly.
He won't go to Chelsea now, will he? Now we've also heard breaking news today that Morata. Has he signed or is he just in there for a medical at the moment?
Well, we flew into Heathrow this morning. And he's got a medical, I think, tonight or possibly in the morning. He's had a little slide dig at Jose, which I like. Saying
what did he say?
Basically saying that Conte's put all his faith into him, basically. So it sounds like he had a conversation with Jose and it sounds like it's going too well. Okay. It was a little slide dig. But
I saw one him saying Chelsea are the biggest club or a bigger club. I don't know what the actual quote is.
I've got Chelsea blinkers, but I'm not sure they're that big. We're not quite the biggest club in the world.
And I suppose as a Chelsea fan, you feel positive about that, do you? Morata signing?
Absolutely buzzing last night. I was obviously texting friends, community members of our league, just putting Morata here. Getting some pretty negative response. One of my friends even compared him to Roberto Soldado, who used to play for Tottenham.
He did flop. He did flop. Yeah, was never a fantasy asset. I think Morata will be a fantasy asset, to be honest.
Yeah,
in comparison, he can't do as bad as Soldado.
The friend who said that comment normally finishes about 2 million in the world. So it basically sums up their knowledge. But yeah, I think it's a fantastic signing.
Talking about these new signings, then, which we think are pretty much confirmed now, anyway. Then, so in terms of price wise, where do you see Hernandez coming in at, and where do you see Morata coming in at?
Well, obviously, when we first signed Costa, I believe he started the game at 10 mil. Obviously, prices have increased since then.
Do you think they priced him at 10? Do you think they priced him at 10 mil, knowing he was on his way? Or do you think that's probably just ridiculous? Because if he's staying and he's a Chelsea player, that 10 mil in comparison to the other big hitters up there just seems underpriced.
Yeah, it does. I was talking about the price when he first came to Chelsea. I think he was 10 mil, but obviously fantasy has gone up since then. The prices, but obviously Lukaku's at 11.5.
Exactly.
So based on the fact that obviously he's never played in the Prem, I think he should go in 10.5. Would be
I was thinking 10.5.
A fair price, same price as Lacazette. I think he's got more quality than Lacazette. And I think he'll score. I think he'll score more goals than Lacazette. So they might put him at 11, but obviously.
You think he'll score more than Lacazette, do you, up there?
Yes, I do. If people want to comment on that opinion, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I mean, yeah, like you say, they're both unproven in the Prem. Yeah. They've both scored goals previously where they've been. I just think Lacazette is coming with a little bit more of a pedigree in terms of volume of goals. You know, I know Morata scored. He scored at Juve, and I think he scored
in Champions League finals as well.
Yeah, he's got the character for it. That's for sure. He's got the confidence, let's say. But I'm not so sure. I'm not sure I'll be taking that there. I think Lacazette, if he gets the game time, and Wenger trusts him. I had a conversation with yourself when the news broke. I think my concern would be whether Wenger just throws him in there, and plays him for 90 minutes, the way he does with Sanchez. He knows Sanchez is not willing to come off, basically, or if he does come off, he shows he's not happy about it. Be interesting to see what approach he takes with Lacazette, because I think for 10.5, it's a nice price if you know he's playing 90 minutes. But if he's getting pulled off at 70s and 75s, be very frustrating to own.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to be very, very popular because obviously the first fixture of the season is the Friday night game. I know we're obviously talking a few weeks in advance now, and obviously a lot of drafting to be done before that week. Is
it 3 weeks this weekend?
Yes, so it's August 11th, which is a Friday. 6:45 would be the cut-off. And there's a lot of fun to be had. I wrote down a list of players because obviously at this point I've not done a draft. I think you're the ultimate addict at this point. You've
correct. I think I genuinely when the website went live and the values came out, I was on it straight away. Drafted 4 or 5 teams pretty quickly. I think the reason being, we know, I've had success in the past. I won the first 2 mini leagues that we did, and I never ended outside the top. I think 6th was my worst finish. And then obviously, as I mentioned earlier, I had the break in Australia. When I came back from Australia, I've just basically struggled. Whereas towards the end of last season, just started to get my groove back in terms of how I like to manage in FPL. And because of that, I think that the excitement for me this pre-season is greater probably than any pre-season that there's been, because I'm chomping at the bit, to say the least, to basically put the record straight, really. And I'll probably now flop like you wouldn't believe, because it's probably now been well and truly jinxed. But I think that's probably why. So yeah, no. In answer to your question, as soon as the values are out, I was on there. In fact, I've basically studied it. You can ask me anything right now, I think, in terms of values. But I'm surprised. I mean, obviously, after your title-winning escapades and all of the energy and mental energy that it would have taken to secure that title, I take it you was just looking forward to the break, was you?
Yeah, I was. A lot of people have life goals, bucket lists, etc., etc. People want to climb Everest, but within my mini league, within my friend circle, community was massive for me because I believe I've got the best football knowledge around Premier League wise. So you need to back that up with titles and good finishes, and I've certainly done that over the last 2 seasons. And excited to
and I think because you finished, you won it last year. The season before that, you came second, and I think when you come second, I've also been runner-up. And it's, you fight so hard to then come second. I think it takes a lot then to come back the way you did last year and back it up then with a title win. You know, and now you've got that off your back. Be interesting to see how you go next season, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'd love to hear some viewers' thoughts on, you know, their fantasy journey, because we've all certainly got one playing over the past years and years, the highs and lows, and you know, the way you've secured titles or let it slip. I'd love to hear some stories about that.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
even the best one, maybe get a guest appearance on here. Why not?
Yeah, too right. Yeah, too
Yeah.
right. What's your thoughts on the Hernandez signing then? One, how's he going to do? I know he's played in the Prem before, but you know he's had quite a spell away from the Prem. How do you think he's going to play in that West Ham side, who have normally played with the big man Andy Carroll up top, and it's going to be a completely different way of playing? And where do you see his value coming in at?
I think he'll play the Hernandez way, won't he? He'll play right on the line of the last defender, and he will score you goals.
Yeah.
You know, more likely at home than not. Carroll, obviously, he's so injury prone. I think it's a good signing. I really do.
Yeah.
Price wise, obviously played for United, so I would think he would be around 7.5.
Oh, 7.
Yeah, just based on the fact he's played for United, people have seen him in that side. I think FPL might rate him higher than what he is. I think he could be 7. I could be wrong next week. We'll obviously find out, but my prediction will be 7.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think whenever you're trying to guess someone's price, you've got to compare it, and you with someone you think's maybe in his bracket. You look at Defoe at 8 mil. He's not at that. He's not at that level. He might outscore Defoe, but in terms of pedigree, Defoe's goal scoring, you know, record.
Yeah.
You look below that. Rooney's priced at 7.5, and I think I'd probably be putting him in at 7.5 myself. Putting him in at 7.5. Yeah, I think so. To be honest, though, I've not even considered, other than maybe Lanzini at 7 mil, who I think would be the route for me if I was going to try and go for a West Ham cover.
Well, obviously
the way he finished the season, Payet's absence.
Obviously, the other option is now Nautovic, who I believe is a fantastic signing. Even at 24 mil in this current market, really, really good signing.
He's explosive, isn't he?
He's explosive. I had a bit of a torrid time with him last season. Basically, this is not top 5k management style. I put him into my side. He was on 4 yellows, which I was not aware of. He got God. I've sort of obviously didn't.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he didn't come back into my side after that. But you know, it's a fresh new season. 7 mil. Yeah, I do like him. I like him a lot. Whether obviously Noble's on pen, so you'd think that'll probably stay. But definitely worth considering at 7 mil. So yeah, West Ham obviously Antonio as well is a great option last season for me. Got me a lot of points.
Also explosive.
Yeah, it's certainly good to have a few options.
I definitely think that. Yeah, I mean, you made another good suggestion with Antonio at 7.5, and I definitely think that, you know, it'd be interesting to see how they all fit in that side together, you know, because obviously Snodgrass, you would assume, is going to get some minutes. AU's going to play. And obviously Hernandez, and if Carroll is fit, does he potentially look at 2 up top? So a lot of questions in terms of how they fit in. I mean, if Arnautovic is given a similar sort of role as he does at Stoke, and you'd assume he's going to play 90 minutes week in, week out, I think you're right. I think he's going to return really, really good value at 7 mil. But West Ham have to improve, don't they? They weren't good enough last year.
No, they wasn't. At home,
score enough goals.
No, but I believe, you know, they've had a year in the stadium now. Obviously, the Payet drama's over. Could be big things coming at West Ham. You know, it could be a few more signings in there. You've got Zabaleta in there at right back.
True. That's a good signing.
Yeah. So we should certainly move on from the Hammers, because discuss them quite a lot at the moment, and they're not my favourite club.
Yeah, good
I
stuff.
think,
So,
I think we should talk about the big dog, Lukaku.
Harry. Oh, the big. We got different ideas of the big dog. Well, you're telling me Harry Kane's goals towards the end of last season, he's still not the big dog?
Let's not talk about Harry Kane at the moment.
What do you want to say about Lukaku then?
Well, I think it's a fantastic signing for Man United. I think it's a fantastic price. And I believe he's got to be in everyone's side, especially with those fixtures. Obviously, we'll move on to fixtures nearer, probably after the Charity Shield.
Sure.
Move on to into more focus on that. But playing in that side, yeah, he's looking the real deal at 11.5, isn't he?
I think so. And I'm pretty sure he's got the highest percentage in terms of teams selected. You know, he's in the high 40%, I think, or 40-something%, which is just enormous. But I think you're right. Before the prices come out, we was talking about it. I thought it'd be 11.5, maybe 12 mil. And I think that, you know, they've maybe put him in a bracket where everybody will go for him. I think if he was 12 mil, I think you then compare him with Sanchez. You think, okay, maybe I'll shift the money that way instead. But I think 11.5 is just enough to cement him in everybody's side. You know, he's going to come in there and take pens. You know, he's going to play probably 90s. I wouldn't say he's selfish, but you know he's just going to stay high, and he's got a pretty good track record in terms of injuries as well, right? He basically plays every game, every week. I think you're right. I don't really see it. I mean, a few people will say Pogba maybe as a Man United option, especially if he's playing higher. You know, if they sign a DMC. But I just think Lukaku is the standout United cover, and with their fixtures. He'll be in more sides than he's not in. I think that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You know, if he was to hit a brace first couple of weeks, that price is going to rocket. But you know, if he doesn't start well, people will start shipping. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how the big dog gets on. Is
Lukaku the first name on your team sheet, from what you're saying?
Well, obviously, we had a little chat before we come on air, and I wrote down who I thought would. Obviously, I've not done my draft yet, but I came up with quite a few names, to be honest, more than whether I can fit them into a squad, I don't know. But I think with those fixtures, I think Lukaku probably would be the first person. My second person is probably Gabriel Jesus. I think the guy this season. Obviously, we're only mid-July. He's my hottest tip fantasy-wise at the moment. I believe Pep loves him. If you look at his returns last season to the amount of minutes he played, I think he 7 goals, 4 assists. I think he only played 50 minutes, 600 minutes.
Yeah.
It's real strong returns. I know, obviously, you got the Aguero factor, but I think Jesus. I think you're nailed on, and I think he's in my side, nailed basically right now.
If you were watching him in pre-season, he's playing more from the right, starting from the right, rather than completely up top. Would you change your mind?
I can't see that happening. I think he's the main striker there now.
Really?
As bold as it sounds, and you know. Man City might play a couple of friendlies over next week. I might look very silly when Aguero's popping up the braces. But I know you're not so keen about Jesus.
No. I am keen on Jesus, and I think I think at 10.5, I think he will produce the goods. You know, he will return the points. I just saw that Aguero price, and I would say that I agree with what your comments on Lukaku, and I think Lukaku will be in my side. But another one I think probably will be in my side is Sergio Aguero. I love the guy. I love him when he's in my dream team. You know, I've had so many good dream team moments with Sergio Aguero that when I saw that price, my eyes lit up. And I've got a feeling I would go that route, I think.
I think I got a little bit of interference with a madman on the line. Aguero in your side. Yeah,
I don't see him not playing.
Wouldn't be anywhere near it.
Not playing.
You
Really?
know, if I set up another fantasy team for my girlfriend, he wouldn't be anywhere near it. Um,
Wow. Wow.
yeah,
No, I've got visions. I've got visions of this opener away at Brighton. Aguero goes there. He hits a brace. He's playing up top. Jesus is playing out on the right, not really involved in the box and around that area. And I don't know. I just think everybody's then going to be on an Aguero bandwagon, and I'm going to already have him in place.
well, that's exactly how I feel about Jesus. Braces at Brighton, Kun on the bench. But I'd love to hear some views from viewers, comments. Love to hear it. Who do you think is right, Fletcher or Tomo?
Yeah, it'd be an interesting one. I mean, pre-season will show more, obviously. I mean, I dare say they'll both get their fair share of minutes through pre-season. So, I mean, I'd be shocked if I see that first team sheet away at Brighton and Sergio Aguero is not in it. I would be absolutely shocked. What about, coming at it from another angle, what about a safer punt, probably in terms of the consistency and the guarantees of starts, probably, is Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, I love KDB. Obviously, he was at Chelsea and Jose let him go, but that's history now. As a fantasy asset, is he 10 this year?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic option. It's just whether, obviously, the rotation with Champions League, he's not the fittest, is he? Can get dragged off. For me personally,
he had 33 starts last season. It's not too bad.
I would certainly expect him to eclipse his returns from last season, that's for sure. And you know, if Jesus and Aguero begin to be a headache fantasy-wise, then KDB could be the one to turn to, definitely, because you're definitely going to want some City in there, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. I think it would be one of those three. I don't know. Maybe the people thinking Aguero are people like myself that have just got that loyalty over the years of having him in the side. Don't get me wrong. His frustrating injuries have been probably equal measure frustrating, as well as them high moments. But saw that price, I just think you're in my side.
Yeah, well, that's why we love this game. Different opinions. He wouldn't be anywhere near my side.
Sure. What's I mean, another big hitter in terms of a club, and I mentioned, you mentioned the big dog. My mind immediately went to the most expensive player in the game, Mr. Harry Kane. Top scorer in the Premier League last year. He's now put 3 seasons back to back of prolific goal scoring.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll be in your side to start with?
No, he will not be in my side to start with. I had Kane from the start last season, and it didn't go well. Despite, I then put Lukaku in and it started to get better. But yeah, with regards to Kane, I think 12.5 is about the right price. It's more the Wembley factor for me. Obviously, seeing him in Champions League last season, it wasn't great for them. Obviously, Chelsea, a nice little win against them at Wembley. I just think they might struggle there. That White Hart Lane effect, that tight pitch, suits Kane down to the ground. I think it's going to cost them maybe 10, 15 points this season. I could be wrong, but
interesting. Interesting one.
Kane, sit and watch for me. See how he does first 6 games, and if I need to bring him in at some point, then I'll look to do it. Obviously, you've got Ali in there as well at 9.5, which is a nice price. I don't know what your thoughts are about Kane or him or any other Spurs coverage.
My current draft that I'm on has got Harry Kane in it.
Really?
Big hitting front 3 to start the season, and probably they're not all going to hit the ground completely flying, but I think it's just a fear factor of the way he finished that season last year. I mean, everything he hit just looks so dangerous. If it wasn't going in, it was goal bound. He just looks so prolific, and he wasn't injured towards the end of last season. He went into pre-season fit. He's had a long pre-season of, I would assume, getting himself sharp, strong, and I think with how poorly he started the last 2 seasons, I just think he might be looking at this one thinking, no, I'm not starting this one poorly too. I know what you're saying about the Ali option. I think at 9.5, a lot will be enticed with that.
Yeah.
Some people might even look at the double up and go with Kane and Ali. It wouldn't be for me. I think the thing that's swaying me towards having Kane is they've got a relatively kind start fixture-wise. I know what you're saying with the Wembley factor, and that might well come into it, but they've got some nice away fixtures too. And he's a captain option, you know, and he's a proven captain option. He's on penalties. I would probably be going. My initial thoughts was I wouldn't go with him because I thought his price was a bit steep, and now I've probably come round full circle, and I think he's back in there.
Yeah, I think it's obviously different players play the game differently with regards to, you know, I like more differentials in my side than you do. So
True.
someone like a Morata, yeah, I could be interested. You'll probably sit and look at him for 6 weeks, and you know you're probably going with a Kane. Yeah, but obviously you've always.
I think I would with all the Chelsea assets. I think the only one that can maybe tempt me in just because of his price is either one of a Pedro, Fabregas, or Willian, just because they're such an enabler. With no Hazard, I'm thinking he's not going to start the season. Is that right? Because he's had the op.
Yeah,
he's not going to be fit for the start.
No, he's not travelled with the squad to Beijing. We played a friendly last week, which William scored a hat-trick. So,
wow.
Yeah, I think short-term William could be a great punt. I'd like to hear how long Hazard's definitely going to be out for confirmed. But with regards to Chelsea, there's plenty of assets to look at there, that's for sure.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it would be an interesting one. I think the Morata, that will tempt a lot of people in, especially with Hazard out, you know. Does Morata take any set pieces? I don't recall him. He hasn't taken any, has he, for Madrid or Juve? So he's not going to get a share of those.
No, I wouldn't think so. No, I think it'll be Hazard on pens again, won't it? So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But the guy's a top finisher. He scores goals from anywhere. He scores all types of different goals. So I believe he's going to be a real threat up top for us. Really do.
It's certainly just such an exciting prospect, I think, this season. With the big six, basically have all strengthened, assuming the Morata deal goes through. Some top strikers. I think a lot of people will be looking for big hitting front lines. I don't see why you wouldn't. You know, with the firepower that's in there. I mean, don't get me wrong. A Defoe could maybe emerge as a great option in that £8 million bracket. But I think when you weigh up a Lukaku, a Kane, Jesus, Aguero, Morata, Lacazette, you know, you would do well to not have at least two of those in your side, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think next week we're going to discuss, you know, formations, go into more detail on, you know, different options. Is it better to have, you know, expensive defenders rather than cheap midfielders and stuff like that? So there's a lot to discuss over the next few weeks, and the season will be amongst us. Obviously, new transfers happening every day. But yeah, I'm very, very excited about it. Yeah,
as am I. Well, maybe if you put a bit more time into Champ, now you've come down from the high of local mini league glory. Now you can start focusing on them lists, and maybe when we sit down again next week, like you say, we'll go into a little bit more depth, a little bit more detail in terms of how we construct our opening squads.
Excellent. Well, I think that's
okay.
I think that's evening from Football Fantasy Weekly /Addicts.
So, first podcast of many. It's good night from us.
Good night. Cheers.